So the newspapers are in the studio now. We have to start with the Daily Graphic. Mama, we start with the Daily Graphic for me.
Yeah.
And stories about ADB dominating the headlines as well.
Yeah.
You have it on the front page? No?
No, ADB is not on the front page,
Right.
but I'm sure it'll be somewhere.
Yeah, it is.
But
On
front
many
page of the
news.
Daily Graphic newspaper. Vodafone is taking half of the page, though. Ministry bans poultry imports from Burkina Faso. Togo Benin rescind decision to leave Flight Information Group. No new security companies as ministry streamlines activities. Comes with a picture of the Interior Minister, Mr. Mark Woyongo. But back page of the graphic spots, Edubiase hold Oli in Accra. Kotoko thrash Lions and they beat them 4-0 to give the occupying Warriors a rare victory at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium since the season began. We know that their supporters are not particularly happy with them. Hopefully wins like this will get them back to supporting them. But that's it for the front and back pages in terms of headlines in the Daily Graphic newspaper.
We have on the front page of the Daily Guide, trouble at the ADB. You have a picture there inserted of the ADB MD, Steve Boji. We smuggler jailed 10 years, and you have Boss boiled. So you have a picture there of the managing director of Boss, Kingsley Kwame Iwadako. Doom's not over, and we still have to endure till the situation is ameliorated a bit by September, we're told. And the power budgets that were promised by the Power Minister that will come in April, for which if the situation is not resolved by December, he would have resigned, will not be coming this month after all, will be arriving in September. For those of you who don't have generators, you just still have to bear the brunt of the current crisis we're having with
you have to endure.
production.
I mean, even if you have a generator, it's really expensive, the fuel that you put in it,
The
whether
toll
it's
in your
diesel
finances.
or petrol, because it means that you have to be buying every day, really, because it's either you are off.
So, for example, I
the
have
full
had
24 hours.
power cuts since the weekend in the evenings, and it means you still have
So
to...
you always go home to darkness.
Well, yes. The point is, you're expecting the worst, so...
But that, you know, that's
you're
not
expecting
good,
the worst, so
seriously.
yeah, it's not a good thing, really. It's not a comfortable thing because you can't sleep well. You're stressed when you wake up.
You know, I
feeling
just
sweaty,
feel,
your kids,
honestly...
your kids sometimes come and do something about, you know, and they tell you, next door neighbor has a generator set, and you, why don't you have a generator? You said, it makes too much noise.
Yeah, but it's making noise anyway, even though it's not sitting in your house and you're not enjoying the lights.
Well, at least there's a road, and it's just an opposite house, so it's not safe.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel that we're not responding as though we were in emergency mode. This is critical. Seriously. I think the efforts we should be pushing more as a country. But let me do the Ghanaian Times newspaper front page. PURC forces utilities to pay complainants. Why are we not interested in the PURC anymore? Okay, also ECG in serious talks in Turkey to end power crisis. What talks end the crisis is action that we're looking for, ECG. Sole judge to deal with PAC cases. And 61 pupils pregnant in 2 months in Akachi North. That story comes with a smiley picture of the Minister of Education, but this is definitely not a smiley matter. A bit of it for you on page 3 in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. It says that 61 basic school girls in the Akachi North district of the Volta region got pregnant during the past 2 months and are now out of school. Dr. Anthony Ashinyo, the District Director of Health, disclosed this to the Ghanaian Times at Avadakpa yesterday and said the girls were between the ages of 12 and 19 years, pregnant and out of school. And it's 61 of them. That's a lot, really. Back page of the Ghanaian Times, Kotoko Cage Lions. The 4-0 win. Ash Gold Hearts draw and only hold back Edubiase. So when you look at the table, you see that Ash Gold is on top. I'm always looking for Kotoko and Hearts of Oak, but Hearts is way down there somewhere. There will be a lot more sports, remember, after the newspaper headlines. Roland.
All right, we have front page of the Today newspaper. Doomsaw hits Ridge Hospital. Nurses use candles mobile phone light to administer medication, amend law on small arms, and a picture again on the front page of the Today newspaper of Alexander Apenyo-Marking, MP for Efutu. Seems to be talking a lot these days. We need to get him into the studio, yes. Dangbe Council of Wulome, they have cleared the air, and those are the stories we have on the front page of the Today newspaper, always blending vision with truth and enlightenment. We're done?
No, we're not. I've got the Chronicle newspaper. Very interesting headlines on the front page of the Chronicle. Government blows $2.5 billion on loans interest. And I'm going to read bits and pieces of all the headlines here. Ghanaians think NDC is corrupt, says Anyidoho. Weeping minister writes on corruption from Flagstaff House. And I'm not a lone ranger, says Napo. But I'm starting with government blowing some 2.5 billion on loans interest. Story says that the NDC administration is to spend a whopping 9.5 billion Ghana cedis this year as interest payments on the huge loans it has contracted. Bit on Anyidoho, and it says the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Koko Anyidoho, has admitted that the party has a tedious task of winning itself off the high perception of corruption in the current administration. And Napo saying he's not a lone ranger, says the MP for Menchia South, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe, has refused to be tagged a lone ranger after becoming the sole candidate contesting in the constituency. But isn't it supposed to be good for him? I mean, if you're like so, it means that nobody is contesting you, isn't it?
He wants it to be competitive, I guess.
Hey.
A true Democrat.
Oh, really? But it means that you are performing, Napo. So enjoy it. When the time comes for people to compete against you, you will be begging for them to back off.
We'll hear it too.
Back page of the Chronicle. Okay, so it's just a lot more sports on the back page of the Chronicle.
All right, so we're doing the last newspaper. On the front page of the Business Finder, we have investor confidence to soar after ITLOs and there's the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea ruling. We also have 50% of workers to lose jobs. I have a picture there of Dr. Seth Ejeba. He's the president, the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We have some market numbers there, macroeconomic targets, consumer price inflation, interest rates, Ghana Stock Exchange, etc., everything there. Okay, so those are the stories and the highlights we have on the front page of the Business Finder.
All right, so we're done with telling you what's making headlines in the major newspapers for you here on our show. We have to make way for sports, which is right up next with Kwame Jumo Achimai. Stay with us. See you on the AM show.
We'll be right back.